Assalamualaikum Manzoor, I hope you are doing fine.
Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah. Am I audible?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Okay, let's wait for a few minutes before starting so
So,
some participants can join.
so,
Okay, great.
should I share my screen right now?
No, I'll just start the session first by introducing you,
Okay, okay,
the
okay,
Climate Center.
perfect.
Yeah,
Okay,
then yeah,
okay, perfect,
I'll ask you to share the screen. No worries.
perfect. Alright.
Okay, so it's 6. I think we should start. Durlab, you are here. Do you want to add something before I start?
Uh, so yeah, I hope you can hear me all right. So I think
Yeah.
sounds good. Nothing in particular, but yeah, excited about the session and learn from our speaker today. So
Okay. Okay, that's great. Okay, so let's start the session officially. So this is a series that we are doing. Climate Action Center is doing in collaboration with Climate Forward Pakistan, and today is the second session. Um, yeah, today is the second session that we are doing, and today's topic is about renewable energy solutions, innovations, and implementations. Uh, and We have got Manzoor Ahmed with us. He's currently working at Pride as a research associate, and he specializes in renewable energy resource assessment, policy formulations, off-grid electrification, net metering, and etc., and different things in renewable energy sector. And today's session is basically based on today's format will be that Manzoor Saab will be sharing a presentation, I think. So I think, sir, if you would like to introduce yourself, tell us something about yourself, and then you can continue with your presentation so we can carry on with the session.
Good evening and thank you for the invite. So let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Manzoor Ahmed. I'm a researcher at Pride. So I have a background in engineering and a master's in energy systems engineering. And Pride is an energy think tank based in Islamabad. So we mostly carry out research in two domains. One is the renewable energy adoption and scale up, and the other is fossil fuels phase out. So thank you. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Okay. Your voice is not very clear. Someone is saying that in the chat. So
Okay.
could you please check your microphone? And I would
Yeah.
like you to continue with your presentation now. We have a couple of participants and people will be joining as time carries on. So yeah, you can start with the
Yeah.
presentation, I think, so we can go on with the session.
Can you please allow me to share my screen?
Okay. Okay, wait a second. Yes, I've allowed you.
One minute. Visible. Um,
Yeah, yeah, it is visible now. Okay,
yeah.
great.
Should I start?
Yeah. Go on, go on. It's great. Thank you.
Thank you. So there is no denying of the fact that climate change has already wreaked havoc in terms of disturbing our climate. Fossil fuels has already increased our emissions so much that it's now necessary to adapt or transition to renewable energy solutions. So, to give you a little bit of perspective, so the energy sector is responsible for almost 75% of the emissions right now. And it has caused global temperatures to rise by almost 1 degree Celsius since the pre-industrial revolutions. And the contemporary or the existing research or scientific models suggest that if we have to limit our emission targets or as per agreed in the COP, etc. Uh, we must so in addition to transition of existing fossil fuel power plants, we must also cap the fossil fuels reserve that we have right now. So in this context, the renewable energy became vital in terms of transitioning to cleaner resources. Renewable energy innovations in RE technologies is mostly centered around three factors. One is the how to increase the efficiency. Second is how to reduce the cost, and the third one is how to increase the reliability of the proposed technologies. So solar panels, for instance, has come a long way in its journey. So we started off with the selenium solar cells back in 1883, and then we transitioned to the silicon-based solar modules. And now we have a perovskites, a next generation solar panels. Uh, so the perovskite solar cell is basically a composite of the lead and tin. So we transitioned from silicon-based to lead-based, and the all lead-based solar panels. And the overall objective or the aim was to not only increase its efficiency and reliability, but also broad the scope of its applications. So the this picture basically illustrates the overall evolution of the solar panels in terms of its efficiency and cost, sorry, in terms of its efficiency and applications. So similar to solar, the wind energy has also came a long way in terms of its design, materials, um, technologies. So there are basically two types of wind turbines that exist today. One is the horizontal axis wind turbine, and the other is the vertical axis wind turbine. And both of these turbines are specific to, you know, us have specific characteristics and are, installed in specific regions. And the innovations that are happening are, in both of these designs. Premise on that, the existing research suggests that we could basically unlock 80% of wind energy capacity generation in the future through research. So there are still room for improvement. Uh, One of the things that I must highlight is that the renewable energy innovation that has happened and will happen is mostly in the material science and metallurgy. So the evolution of the renewable energy technologies is basically the evolution of material science. So similar to solar, when we like transition to the next generation solar cells, composite materials, in wind designs or in materials, we also transition from the traditional steel and fiberglass to composite materials and next generation alloys. So now we have a nanomaterials that can reshape the wind blade design as per wind speeds. So in this context, it's not limiting to solar and wind. Um, if you take it hydroelectric, if you take geothermal, photosynthesis, hydrogen, everything, the evolution will always happen and the innovation will always happen in the material science domain. So, solar and wind technologies are, intermittent in nature. So, in this context, these storage technologies became very important uh, to assist renewable energy integration in the grid infrastructure. So, we have transitioned from the traditional lithium-ion batteries to solid-state batteries, flow batteries, which kind of offers higher energy density, longer lifespan, and faster charging capabilities. So hydrogen is also being explored as another carrier in this storage technologies. But the real uh, I would say the game changer or the revolution will happen when there will be a sodium ion batteries. So basically, the all the materials that you know used for the manufacturing of storage technologies are critical resources and concentrated in specific regions, which indirectly affect its cost. Since the sodium is vastly available and it's not limited to a specific countries or region, so the innovation in the sodium ion batteries will definitely significantly reduce the appliances or all the products that are powered by the battery energy storage. Uh, so this is the current trend in innovation and research in terms of battery storage. So there are like advan- advanced lithium-ion batteries and lithium alternatives constitute the biggest trend in terms of battery storage research. Then we have the battery energy storage systems, thermal energy storage systems, so on and so forth. And all of these innovations are basically to, assist the grid when we integrate renewable energy sources in it. So it will help in, managing or catering the demand, as well as scale up the utility scale RE solution and distributive energy solution. Like when we have to like integrate RE in the existing grid, now we have like mostly uh, solar rooftops. So, but in terms of utility scale renewable energy, we are still like far behind in if you compare it with the global installation index. So um, grid. So basically, there is a term used in the transmission system which is called grid flexibility. So grid flexibility refers to the adaptation of grid in terms of fluctuations. So there are technologies that assist grid in terms of adaptation. So if you take an example of elastic band, so you stretch it and then it contracts itself. So basically, the grid flexibility works in the same way. So the renewable energy integration in grids, the flexibility becomes very important. So this is the overall table in terms of cost. So if you go from short-term flexibility uh, to long-term flexibility, then the cost will significantly increase. So if you want to make your grid flexible for a short term, you have less cost. So flexibility in the grid means that you integrate resources, particularly storage resources and grid innovations. So you have like AI and other technologies to be integrated in the existing grid infrastructure. So the lost row is basically the issues which you want to cater in terms of achieving the flexibility. So short-term flexibility will assist you in large disturbances, imbalance in supply and demand, and similarly, long-term flexibility is mostly connected to the scheduled maintenance or seasonal variation. Uh, Despite the innovative trends and what we can achieve in terms of renewable energy scale up, there are still challenges that hinders the adoption of RE technology. So there are several socio-economic, technical, and barriers uh, which restrict countries to move to low emission pathway. So one is the materials availability. As I said earlier, RE technologies relies on specific materials which are concentrated on a geographically limited areas. So materials availability becomes an issue. Uh, Second is the supply chain complexities. So there are the global supply chains of oil technologies is not open for every country. So in this is another challenge which kind of stopping countries to transition towards the cleaner technologies. Third is the embedded energy. So the process of um, basically innovation or manufacturing of RE technologies uh, has itself costs and energy associated with it. So if you are manufacturing a solar panels, then you will have to extract materials. Then you will use a machinery. So it all comes with the additional cost. So minimizing this embedded energy is another challenge. For example, if you are using diesel powered machinery to extract minerals or materials from the ground and using it to manufacture solar technologies. This is another challenge. Fourth is the carbon footprint of RE technology. So all the resources that we use to mine and extract materials for these RE technologies uh, have their carbon footprint. So we there's also a challenge of limiting this factor. Um, so in terms of implementation of the RE technologies, So there is always an opposed logic at work, like renewable energy resources are not feasible. You would hear that like multiple times. Uh, that basically the RE resources disturbs the grid and it's not feasible. So this picture illustrates basically the renewable energy generation in Germany versus their average interruption index. So as you can see, the overall this horizon from 2006 to 2020, the renewable energy share has constantly been increasing, but their interruption index is decreasing because of their basically policies and adaptation measures that have been undertaken. So, first thing is to debunk the myths. That if you are like advocating for RE technologies, then you should have an informed opinion uh, of what you are proposing. So, this is, I would say, it's the first step in terms of advocating for renewable energy. That you should have informed, data-driven uh, based plan that you should, put forward. Second thing in terms of implementation is understanding the cost structure of the overall power markets. So renewable energy resources, all of them have a high capital cost component. Uh, and the fossil fuels power plants have a low fixed or upfront cost component. So when you basically model a system, so historically the planning always prefer technologies that have low upfront cost but high, operational costs. So there is a need to restructure this cost framework, that how we shortlist our power plants, or there are simulations run and they basically provide a least cost plan, that these resources uh, would be for next 10 years, these resources are the least cost to cater the demand. And similar to that, you also need to, design the framework or cost structure in such a way that you basically provide incentives for investors, since they are, investing a higher upfront cost in, installing these power plants. So next thing in the RE implementation is to have a integrated energy plan. So basically, integrated energy plan encompasses these three plans. So one, we have an integrated generation plan. So it is basically plan which um, give you a simulation model of how you can cater your demand most efficiently. So most economical, efficient energy mix that can cater your projected demand over a selected horizon. Next is the transmission plan, which usually focuses on the enhancing the capacity of the existing grid as well as reliability and efficiency. The third is the energy resource plan. So there is a spatial distribution of resources in the country. Like for example, in Pakistan, in KB we have hydro energy. In Sindh we have a wind energy potential. So we should have a framework outlining the current and future needs while considering factors such as sustainability of these resources and the spatial distribution of these resources with demand. So when you combine these three plans together, it's called an integrated energy plan. So it's all, since renewable energy in terms of its levelized cost are so low recently that this integrated planning is necessary. This is the overall design of supportive policy framework. So we have like seven streams in which supportive policies must be designed. So one is the risk mitigation and procurement incentives. So you should redesign or redraft your power purchase agreements in such a way that you assist the investors. Then there are incentives for large scale RE. Similarly, distributed generation, rooftop solar. In terms of planning, there are like you should, map out the existing RE resources that you have in the country. Uh, then we have a power flexibility of RE. Then there is like a technical side of things where you have to like basically regulate or redraft those guidelines, regulatory guidelines that can, assist the power RE system integration. Next we have grids development, fossil fuel phase outs. You must have targets, net zero commitments, targets of RE. And then most importantly, when you like advocate for an energy resource, you must include the element of just transition. So the whatever posed idea or plan must have a go benefit. Like there are livelihoods at stake when you like uh, offer or propose something. So like if you are a renewable energy of if you are like proposing or giving a feasibility of RE technologies, then there's this local community should also be like uh, integrated in terms of its job creation and others. So, to conclude, we must embrace the RE technology innovation and and take strides not only in its innovation but also in terms of countering this the opposed logic that is it at works recently in terms of it's not sustainable, renewable energy not sustainable, and it's quite rampant. So that's all from my side. I'd be happy if you have any questions.
That was a really interesting talk, and there are one two things. There is one question um, that I have. It's that you talked about the types of solar panels and the different types of wind turbines that are being innovated with time. Uh, I would like to know your opinion on what kind of technologies uh, are suitable and most feasible for Pakistan at this time, considering that even on the small scale, because when we go to buy solar panels, or I want to put it at my home, how can I know that what technology of the solar panel, how do I identify, and how do I know that which technology is the most suitable and will be the most efficient for Pakistan on very on a micro level as
Yeah,
well as on the.
I I get it. I get it. So in Pakistan, mostly people who live in suburban areas, they have a restricted rooftop space to install solar panels. So there are currently in Pakistan, there are two types of panels that exist in the market. One is the which is called, I would say, single facial power plants, and the other one is the bifacial power plants. So a bifacial power plants has they have cells on both sides of the module. So basically, so how it works is like the sun rays has like emit two kinds of radiation. One is the direct radiation and diffuse radiation. So traditional solar panels would only, utilize the direct radiations, which is called a single facial panel. But now in Pakistan, we have which is called a bifacial solar panels, which not only utilizes the direct solar radiation, but also uses the diffused radiation that are mostly reflected from the walls, etc., or the built-up areas that is around your system. So in Pakistan, I would suggest if you have a restricted rooftop space, then you can have a maximum capacity solar panel if you install a bifacial solar panels. So yeah, so mostly in Pakistan we have these two technologies. So we don't have a thin films, which is like you can like twist it. It's made of a composite materials and nanomaterials, but we do have a bifacial solar panel. So it's basically uh, covers the same space as your traditional solar panels, but has a high wattage rating. So yeah, I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. And now there are some questions from the participants. Um, Kaniz Fatma is asking that something about wind solar panels and are they suitable for rural areas? Let me go through with some of the questions and then you can answer them all at once if is it okay for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so Nemat Ali is asking, are there any solar panels produced that produce electricity in night? Okay, with this one, I would like to add something on with this one that this is about batteries basically. So I also would like you to give your opinion about the disposal and the life cycle of batteries. Okay,
Mm.
if you can go on with this one, and there is one more that are solar wallpapers effective or not in Pakistan? So you can go with these, and then then I'll take two more questions. They are a bit lengthy, so if you could go about
Yeah.
these questions first, and then we can continue.
So, in terms of first question, I guess it was about the
Yeah, it's about wind solar
panels for
panels
now.
and
You can use
rural
that.
areas.
So, China has developed solar panels, uh, which kind of uh, use moonlight for its generation, but its efficiency is low and it's not cost effective. Uh,
Okay.
as far as I know. But there are research that has been going on in terms of we can use moonlight, but because moonlight is also not consistent throughout the month or throughout the year, so there are always intermittency factor in that as well. So I don't think there are any marketable uh, modules which are cost effective that can work at night. Uh, what was the second question?
Yeah, secondly, we have that are the solar wallpapers effective or not?
Okay, so when you install a solar panel on your rooftop, there are certain elements that you need to like keep in mind. So they don't like all the solar vendors, they don't just install solar panels randomly. So there are particular angles and latitudes that they account for in terms of uh, you know placing a solar panel. It's basically a south facing and has a particular angle in it. So when you basically um, use a wallpaper, it does not utilizes all the radiations. So the angles at which these solar panels are tilted It's basically to maximize the output in terms of utilizing the radiations. So I don't think it is cost effective to use solar sheets. And the last question was about the disposal of batteries.
Yeah.
So it's still an issue globally that where would you like store the used batteries? One of the things or plans that countries are taking is to use the EV batteries that are completed its life cycle. It's basically it's to refurbish it and use it with the grid. So instead of throwing it, they are like increasing the basically life cycle of that particular battery. So but the research about the storage, it's still a global issue, and there is a lot of research that has been going on how do we utilize the battery storage, used battery materials. But China has developed a battery which is, I guess it's called CATL, which is like a maximum life cycle that you can have. But it will like disrupt the overall market. But if like there is always another factor which is kind of related to a human factor, that if you have a system or a technology that is not degradable, how's going to market work? Like the market is based on buying and selling. So you have something, it's completed its life cycle, then you go to a market and you buy another. It's kind of, it will disrupt if you have a technology that you can use throughout your life. Or so yeah, this is also one of the factors that researchers keep in mind.
Okay. Okay. So there are some more questions from the participants. I'll ask you one by one. So Rimsha is asking that uh, can you talk more about integrated generation plan and why is it not formulated or implemented? And what are the factors that are considered in its formulation? And with this one, I'll add one more question, that why is Pakistan lacking behind in the race of renewable energy and its integration? Because is there no policy, or is there if we do not have a suitable environment, or there is no capital, or is it financial factors? What are the main factors that we are behind in the race of renewable energy?
So, in terms of both of these questions are linked. It's basically policy consistency. So, in Pakistan, unfortunately, we don't have a consistent policy. So, the integrated energy plan was, in the works since 2007, and still there is no commercial operation date. They have run a trial version, uh, but it's like uh, so. Currently, we have just a integrated generation plan. We don't have a transmission plan. We don't have an energy resource plan. But we were supposed to have these plans 10 years back. And the one thing that I know, it's consistency. So there are bureaucratic challenges. We are already, very efficient, I would say. So yeah, so it's because of mostly bureaucratic hurdles, and
Right.
yeah, so that's why integrated energy plan is not, and it will still take, I would say, 5 to 10 years to Pakistan to have a integrated energy plan.
Okay, okay, right.
And
Uh,
second question was solar. So same goes for solar. So we have a uh, solar panel. So we offered, a tender. I would say a tender. It was a Muzaffargarh solar power plant, and no investors came. because they cited reasons that it's not feasible to invest in Pakistan. When you have a like situation which encompass both the at the security level and the there is we already rank, I don't know, in the ease of doing business in terms of, I would say, hundreds. So they're not ease for investors. They're not stability. There is no consistency in policy. So that's why we are not
Okay.
basically we are lagging behind in solar installations.
Okay. Okay. So now I would like to put a question in, like a question about net metering. It is about net metering. So Durlab is asking that from a consumer perspective, and net metering is a lucrative prospect. However, in a city like Karachi, they have cut rates over many months. So, in your opinion, how regulatory bodies can play a role here?
So first of all, in terms of net metering tariff, you have to basically analyze how we reach here. So we have two tariff rates. One is the peak tariff rate, and the other is the off-peak tariff rate. So peak
Yeah.
tariff is basically after 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And the off-peak rate is after 10 p.m. till next day 5 p.m. So solar basically when that meeting was offered, its rate was similar to what utility or your in Karachi, I would say it's K Electric, it was similar. Whenever they increase the off-peak rate, they would always, at the same ratio, they would also increase the net metering rates. But Discos objected to that, and they cited that it's for them it's a revenue loss. So, for example, if in a street there are 10 houses who pays their bills, but five of them install solar panels, so their revenue is lost. So, in terms of that, they then the discos or distribution companies propose that the tariff for net metering should be capped. So now it's 19 around 19 rupees, I think. But the tariff that's been charged by the utility or the discos to average consumer is about 40 rupees. So yeah, that's why it's important to basically design your solar system as per your load. So on every utility bill, there is a load mentioned that you have this much load. So you must either increase your capacity of installation, and there are other factors like what kind of system you have. Is it an on-grid and off-grid? So low capacity solar systems are more feasible if you have an on-grid inverter or on-grid system. So on-grid system is means that you won't lose the energy generated from your solar panels. It will, it's uh, mostly uh, will go towards the grid. So you have a network, you have a bidirectional meter. There are a couple of on-grid and off-grid uh, you know um, decision variables, I would say, that you must also keep in mind when you have a battery. It's a shared system. So if you have a net metering and you have a battery, then the systems would first charge your batteries and then would export units to the grid. So there are certain elements that are at play. So you must first basically analyze your load. Your consumption patterns is also very important in terms of your. So if you have a high consumption in the morning, then
Yeah.
your system will automatically export less units. So demand side management is also very important.
Right. Okay, so I'll take one more question and then I think we can conclude. So, Mohammed Shiraz, yeah, Shiraz, Shiraz is asking about pump storage systems, something which are being used in the West. He's saying, and if you can explain something about this and
Yeah.
how and what other alternative storage systems are can be used for the for the grid integration and then I would like to like you to conclude uh, by giving your opinion on how can the youth play a role for the proper implementation of sustainable and clean energy, that is also the part of SDGs, which is SDG number 7. So on that note, we can also conclude the session. If you can.
Yeah, sure. So one is the pump storage. So pump storage is basically integrated with your hydro dams. So the in the evening, you'd use the hydro storage. When you like you'll make electricity from hydro storage. So basically, it works like that. That you have which is called a water head. So you basically have a turbine in between. There are like two levels. You have a catchment area above, and you have the overall storage area at the bottom. So in during the which is called base load hours or off peak hours, you use these hydro or water hydro energy to generate electricity. But in the morning, the same water will be pumped up to the same reservoir. So it's like so we do have a we kind of compiled a feasibility of hydro storage specifically in the northern areas, but it was not cost effective in terms of so feasibility. It's also an issue. Uh, what was your second question?
Yeah, yeah. The second one was that uh, what are the suitable storage options that we can use that can help in the renewable
Yeah,
energy grid
I get it.
integration.
So recently, if we see peer regional countries like India, they are like exploring hydrogen storage. Hydrogen generation of hydrogen is expensive. Like it's not easy if you use the electrolysis of water, then you split the molecule. And it consumes a lot of energy to split a single H2O molecule. But in India, they have experimented that what if we use solar? So basically, it goes like this: that you have a renewable energy system like solar and wind, which are very low as compared to the generation cost is quite low as compared to other RE technologies. So basically, you use the RE technologies to generate electricity, and the same electricity is used for electrolysis of water and produce hydrogen. And then hydrogen can be used as another storage medium, uh, which you can use fuel cells, we can use which is called flow batteries, which is powered by hydrogen. So yeah. So this plan can work in Pakistan as well, but we don't have an infrastructure in place because hydrogen has a lot of other infrastructure, like it's needed for hydrogen to scale up in the country. Um, and finally, for the youth, I would say as I said in my presentation, you must have an informed opinion about stuff, any, not just renewables or anything. So the data-driven approach is always fruitful. So you would hear a lot of noise in terms of whatever. I'm not restricting my talk right now to renewables, but in any issue, you must have an informed opinion. So you should like first uh, make your opinion based on knowledge that is available, and then propose or do something, whatever you're doing.
Okay, that is great. And on that note, I think today's discussion was really fruitful, and there were a lot of things that we learned. Especially for me, there were a lot of things that I learned for the first time, and it was great having you. And if there is no questions and there is nothing, I would like to ask Durlab if there is something that you would like to add, uh, other than I think it's oh, it is all from my side, and it was lovely having you, Manzoor
Thank
Saab,
you.
and we would like to collaborate further as well for different sessions. And whenever you visit Karachi, we would love to have you for a podcast over here.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Sure.
it was great having you. So thank you so much, all the participants. Thank you all for participating, and it was great having you all. Inshallah, we'll have more sessions and stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you.